So bring the listen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Imam Shafi. I am the Imam and the Executive Director of the Islamic Outreach Center of Colorado. And the masjid is also known as Masjid Ashabul Kahf. And you all know, our viewers, the meaning of Ashabul Kahf. إنهم فتية آمنوا بربهم وزدناهم هدى. They were youths, they were teenagers who chose to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They had strong iman in Allah. They went against their elders, their leaders who were mushrikun and kuffar. So they chose iman over kufr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إنهم فتية آمنوا بربهم وزدناهم هدى. And Allah increased them in guidance. And so, alhamdulillah, I'm so happy to welcome you and also to welcome our youths, our current and future leaders for an interview. So, assalamu alaikum again, brothers, and welcome. And I think the first thing they will be doing is to introduce themselves. Bismillah ar-Rahman.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Mazen Hamid. I'm a senior year going to DSST Montview. Assalamu alaikum.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ahmed Mutwakil, and I am a college freshman.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Al-Bashir, and I go to DSST Bars, and I'm a senior.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Tariq Abdul Habib, and I'm a senior. I'm going to become a senior at DST Mountain.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ahmed, and I'm a college freshman.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sami Yassin, and I'm a freshman in DSST Montview.
Now, so allow me to ask the first question, and then I'm gonna get a mask for my brother, because this is time for sanitizing. It is a time for masking, and you have to wear a mask, and also you have to maintain what is called, I don't know if this is enough social distancing.
No,
No?
I'm not sure. I don't think enough.
So then we need to do something, somebody needs to come here. So the questions that I have for them today is I want to ask our youths, how does it look like? What is it to be raised in America as a Muslim youth? This is the answer that I need from them, inshallah. Each one of them needs to contribute for a few minutes. What is it? How is it to be a Muslim youth? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Bismillah.
Raise your voice.
In my own view, I seen it as because my parents come from Sudan, and I think most of us here come from Sudan too. And the problem is in Sudan they speak Arabic, right? And in America we're raised English, and the Quran is mostly in Arabic. So Sudanese parents and African parents, they assume that Islam is already in the children. It's already innate in the children, but most of the time, maybe like the child, they might not know enough about Islam, and maybe the parents assume they know about Islam more than they do, and it sometimes pushes away from Islam. But alhamdulillah, when you actually go and learn Islam, maybe in your native language, which would be English for most of the American youth, wallahi, it's a very amazing religion, and it just teaches you a lot. And alhamdulillah, inshallah.
Of course, I agree. The language barrier can be very challenging at times, especially to approach our parents, our Sudanese parents, and growing up with social relations in America is very, very different from our parents when they were growing up in Sudan, for example. And I think that sometimes it'll be easier for us to come up to them and talk to them, for example. And sometimes they would dislike the way we were talking to them due to our social upbringing here in America. But I believe that as long as we embrace our religion and choose that as a connection with our parents, that will be an excellent way to go.
To add on, I believe being a Muslim in America, it can be difficult at times because of your environment, social environment. But if we maintain a good connection with our community, our Muslim community, and we maintain a good connection with one another, inshallah, we will strive and become better.
To add on to what Bashir said, like growing up in America is different from growing up in an Islamic country, because for me, like myself, the relationship between me and like the masajid is different versus like back in the Islamic country, because here, like you need like a car to get around, and yeah, there's just a barrier because like you can't get to the masjid sometimes, and it's just like a problem.
Youth in America, growing as a youth in America.
I'd like to add on to what they were talking about the barrier between the youth, like the adults. And like the adults, they grew up in like a mostly Islamic area, whereas like here, the youth, like they grow up in like a like religion, like different religions everywhere, different cultures everywhere. So like I feel like the Islamic youth just needs to come together, and that would just make the youth better.
I don't really know what to say, but because I was born and raised in a Muslim country, so I just know it's different here.
MashaAllah, 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 MashaAllah. Your contribution is very, MashaAllah, crucial. Let me tell you that, especially youth. We need to promote most of these forums where we can talk. It's not all about just what you learned, but also what you experience on daily basis. You are living here, right? Maybe another question that I would ask that, each one of us would have something to say about. What do you think is the barrier between youths who are raised, not necessarily born, raised here, and parents? What is the barrier? What is this that you'd wish if they understand regarding your upbringing? Parents are with you at home. They feed you. They work very hard. Our parents, Jazahumullah khairan. When we make dua, qul Rabbi irhamhuma kama rabbayana sighara. We make dua that Allah, have mercy on them, and they raised us right from, childhood. But many youth feels that there is a barrier, understanding-wise. What are these maybe barriers that you think are between you and your parents? Now, you want to say something?
Well, like
Sometimes you go home and you feel like they don't understand, and sometimes when they talk to you, you feel like, I wish if he said it in a different way. So what do you think? Do you think that there are some cultural barriers? Do you think that, since they were not raised here, they don't really know you? Do you think that it is you who don't understand them? What are some barriers between you and your parents that you wish would have been removed? Now,
Yeah, I can speak it.
Bismillah.
Bismillah. In my opinion, the Western civilization is very different. I seen a hadith. It was holding on to your religion is gonna be like holding on to a hot coal.
No.
And it really does feel like that because your religion, a lot of the halal stuff, it may seem like foreign to you because everybody's doing haram. Is like you see that as the norm. You want to fit into the Western civilization, but in the end of the day, it doesn't help you. At least in my own experience, I would almost consider myself a revert to Islam. Like the amount of stuff I just figured out now, like a year ago about Islam, and that's how I see it. Just the Western civilization, like the difference in culture there, and inshallah we can move forward and strengthen the ummah, inshallah.
So there are barriers.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do you think? Especially between you and parents, not between you and America. No.
I think there's just different experience. They grew up in an all Muslim community. All their friends were Muslim. All their friends were the exact same as them, and honestly, it was on a different road too. And for us, it's a whole different experience. A lot of our friends are Christian. We go to school with a lot of like Christians and different mentality than Islam. Where doing a lot of stuff is okay, and so, it just to us like like he said, holding on to Islam is like a hot coal because it's just like what's around us and the community around us. And so honestly, that's where I see the disconnect is just the difference in experience, just different lifestyles, you know.
What do you have to say? The barrier between youth and parents. Something that you wish they would have understood. Something that we can both work on.
So between parents and kids.
And kids, yes.
I guess like when they like teach their kids about Islam, which is really good, they should like actually teach them, not like tell them. They should teach them. Yeah. They should teach them. Yeah.
So youths.
Because there's a difference between like
teaching
telling somebody
and,
and teaching somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they teach them like the true Islam.
Yeah.
Like not just like what they hear, but like based off like Quran and Sunnah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So there is that barrier.
Yes.
You feel like, listen, you feel like, intentions are good. Okay, but there is more of, I don't want to call it dictatorship, more of telling and telling than teaching and nurturing. You nurture your son to understand. You nurture him to understand and love. Okay? Not just to please you, not just to, right? You don't want him to perform salah and, be a Muslim out of fear, right?
Yeah.
MashaAllah. What else? You didn't say anything?
I agree. So there's a very micro-organized perspective whereby the parents would force, or they would be inclined to make the children, the youth, fear them instead of the true fear of Allah, which it should be like introspective into the person. And in this way, I believe that if we change the way, like less micro-organized, the youth will be more open to open forums and discussions, and their iman will grow exponentially.
Any other point?
Adding on to what you just said, I feel like the parents should like not force someone to do something. Like they should actually motivate them to want to like learn themselves. Not just hey go read this, go do that. Like then they'll just get scared of the parents instead of like making it to a good intention. Like go actually learn something. Nice enough.
I think teach through example, like almost like show and tell. Gotta show instead of just telling, almost like just example where the kid can understand it.
Yeah, definitely.
Any point? No. So we have discussed the barrier, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel welcomed in masajid or you feel unwelcome? Besides Salah masjid is open. Because I had many youths talking about, we don't really feel welcomed and should I say included. What would you say about this? And coming with a solution, how would you want to be included?
I'll say at one point, at least for me in Masjid Abu Bakr, one point.
Now.
Okay, one point at Masjid Abu Bakr, it was very like, I'm pretty sure like all the youths used to just go to Masjid Abu Bakr just to like play basketball in the parking lot. And it was a very like inclusive place. And I don't know what happened after that, but just like less and less people showed up. I guess in my experience, I don't know what happened, but just less and less people showed up. I actually moved to today, so I wouldn't know what happened in between those times. And maybe you guys would say something.
To add on, I feel welcomed at the masjid most times, but then sometimes I feel like parents think that it's bad that people are playing outside in the basketball court, and just to add on to what he said, I feel like it just through the years, less and less people started to come to hang out at the masjid. When before when we were kids, all of us used to hang out at the masjid, and then like I said, there's just a disconnect. I'm not sure what happened, but.
No. What else? That's right.
I'm not really sure. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but
Leadership. Youth needs to lead. You go to school and they appoint you at leaderships. We have boards and shuras and you know, we don't find youth there. Executive, bodies and what, and you don't find youths there. Some youths have complained that we are not included. And if we are told come, we don't know, what they are calling us for. Right? So what else would you say about this?
I would say perhaps placing the youth into leadership positions, easing the way through internships, for example.
Right.
Methods of climbing up the hierarchy.
Right.
And in this way, I think it will set a perfect example for other youths to follow. And then other youths will look up in inspiration to for example, those who are in high positions. And that would be very inclusive in that way.
MashaAllah. What else? What would you want to see in masajid and Islamic centers?
What I would want to see, to add on to his too, is just place where we could all relax. So say like every Saturday we had a soccer day or like a basketball day, or like we even played dodgeball, in the gym, or we went to the gym together, or like the mountains. That would be amazing.
No. Bismillah. How would you wanna see youths being included?
I guess it's like more like voice from the youth, like more involvement. Like he said, like a bunch of like activities or something they could do or something like that, and just getting them together all in one place. I don't know.
So you have to say something now. How do you wanna see youths being included?
Can I just add on there?
Yes.
I see just like what Bashir said, if we had like soccer games every Saturday and just we could have
No. Anything else?
This is just the brother's perspective too. I have a question. Is it like if there's an imam for the masjid, right? Can the imam let someone else lead, or does the imam have to lead themselves?
Yeah. So this is a question to Imam, right? This is a question to Imam. Okay. This is a question to Imam, right? Now, so yes, Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told us who should lead, especially 5 prayers. He said, "Ya ummu nas aqra'uhum li kitabillah." Who should lead people most? Who should lead people? First is a person who knows Quran, who understands Quran more than all. So if you understand Quran more than all, then you are more deserving to lead. But if we are all equal in understanding Quran, memorizing, and then it comes to the one who understands what? Yani Sunnah more than, and then it comes age and all that. And so, أقرأهم لكتاب الله, and then it comes the one who understands Sunnah, and then comes, أكبرهم سنا, the one who is older. For many reasons. A young person may know Quran, but has he reached a level of understanding? There is maturity, but also the rulings of Salah. For example, if he forgets. So what is expected is that this seniority matters. But what about if there are seniors, there are elderly people who don't have as much Quran as the young one? Then the young one is more deserving. But at least they talk about he must have reached puberty. Even though a young man who has not reached puberty can lead even Sunnah, like Taraweeh. But Fard, because Fard has a lot of rulings, if you forget, for example, from Qiyam, okay, instead of going to Ruku, you find yourself in Sujood, what should you do? You are performing Salatul Dhuhr or Asr, and then after first rak'ah you sit down instead of getting up. What is the ruling? So it is expected that somebody who has who is senior, it is expected he has learned, he knows the rulings of Salah. That is why. But if a young man has more Quran, if a young man has more Sunnah, okay, than the rest, then he is deserving to lead Salah. Wa alaikum salam. Now, yes. So yes, what we want at this center is to allow you, this is what I was talking about, to take positions, to lead Salah, to give khutbahs. Do you understand that? I want you to be in charge of da'wah, in charge of outreach, in charge of this. So this is what we want to revive at the Islamic Outreach Center in this masjid. Two more questions and I think we will be done. So we have spoken about what is it? How does it look to be raised as a youth in America? We also spoke about the barrier, right? And then we also spoke about a very, very general concern of youth that they are not included in masjid. The last question, how do you think that we can be strong in American society? Iman-wise, deen-wise, but also academically and social and even morally. How best do you think, what can we be doing? The ball is thrown back to you. How are we going to be strong in our deen? How are we going to be strong academically? How are we going to be strong socially? How do you think, what should we do to be strong? Now,
Okay, I can start this. I think we just gotta stick together, like the brothers and sisters. If you're a Muslim, that's all it should take to stick together with each other. Cause like I see at least in my own experience, a lot of like Muslims taking like other like religion friends over their Muslim sister or something, or they get they lower the reputation of their own Muslim brother or sister. But it should be like we try to keep the reputation of our brothers and sisters, and like we just stick together. If you have iman, that should be thicker than blood. Like blood is thicker than water, it says, and then iman is thicker than blood. Inshallah, we can just stick together. That's how I see it. And if you guys want to add on.
economically, deen, how are we going to be strong together, right? Because there are a lot of challenges, there are a lot of temptations, there are a lot of confrontations. We know that. How do you think together? Because this is a question that is being discussed by elderly people, and this is when youths are not in the masjid to be part of these discussions. There is a problem. How do you think, if given a chance at leadership level, how are you going to guide us, the community, to be strong, deen-wise or iman-wise, socially, economically, and even academically? Yes.
Unity is very important for us collectively, but also I believe an important factor is reflection. Every individual person to reflect among themselves, not only the youth, but in order to create more like inclination towards pursuing iman straight up. And then in this way, I think that instead of, for example, the youth waiting for somebody to tell them to go to salah, then they will go by themselves naturally and organically.
No, mashallah.
I don't have anything else to say.
To add on to what they said, I think strength is in the numbers, so unity. But to really add on to what Ahmed M said, I believe each individual we should have like almost a unity where we're all together, but where it's